See this, if there are exactly 81 functions from set A to set B, then which of the following statements is not true? We have already seen that the number of functions possible from set A to set B is going to be n power m, where A is having m elements and B is having n elements, isn't it? So let's see if it is all the options are right or wrong. Now if A is containing 4 elements and B is containing 3 elements, then how many functions will be possible? The number of functions will be 3 power 4, which is nothing but 81. Therefore option A is right. And what about this? It is 9 power 2, which is again 81. Option B is also right. What about this? It is 81 power 1, which is nothing but 81. So it is matching. Now what about this? It is 9 power 9. 9 power 9 is not equal to 81. Therefore we can say that this is false. Got it? So this cannot be the right option for the given condition. Now look at the next one. Which of the following is a function if the domain is set of all real numbers? Which means they are talking about a function which is defined on set of all real numbers. Okay. So range and domain and codomain you can take here as both as real numbers, because they have mentioned only one set. So it means that these are the functions which are defined on one set. Okay. Which of the following is a function? That is what they are asking. F of x equal to 1 by x. So what does it mean? If for every real number x, if you can find out the value of if we can give it exactly one value for this, then you are going to say that it is a function. See this, for example, if for the real number 1, what value do you want to associate according to this function? 1 by 1, which is nothing but 1, which means 1 is mapped to exactly one value, 1. And similarly for 2, what is the value that you want to assign? For 2, value assigned is 1 by 2, which is 0.5, which means 2 comma 0.5 will be present in this function. Likewise, for every real number, if we can assign one number according to this function, then you can say that according to this given expression, then you can say that it is a function, right? So let's see this. Now for every element you can find out what 1 by x is, except one number. What is it? 0. Since for 0 you have to write it as 1 by 0, which means you have to assign a number called 1 by 0, but there is no number in the real number system called as 1 by 0, which is infinity. So we can say that it is not a function. Okay. What about this one? For all real numbers you should be able to assign some real number here, right? But what happens here is, if you say root x, for positive numbers you can find out the root of x. Even for 0 also you can find out root of x equal to 0. But then for negative numbers, finding out the square root is not possible in the set of all real numbers. Here the functions are defined on the real numbers, right? Therefore we can say that it is not a function, because you are going to get an imaginary number for negative numbers, right? So it is also not a function. Now what about this one? Now if you observe it, for every number there are two numbers mapped to it, plus or minus, isn't it? But then a function should have mapping for every one element in the domain. You should only get one element in the codomain. You should not get two elements. But here if you observe it, for example, if you put x equal to 0, you are going to get plus or minus root 1, which means you get plus 1 as well as minus 1. Therefore for one value we are getting more than one values, so it cannot be a function. Now what about this one? So x equal to mod x, which means for every number we are taking the positive version of that number. So for 0 there will be 0, for 1 there will be 1, so for 0 there will be 0, for 1 there will be 1, but for minus 1 there will be 1. So for every number you will get exactly one number as output if you apply the mod function, which means every number in the domain is mapped exactly to one number in the codomain. But more than one element can be mapped to the same number, but that is not a problem at all. So this is definitely a function. Got it? See, why is first one failed? If you observe the first one, what happened is, if you see the set of all real numbers, for all values you are able to assign the values, but then for 0 you are not able to assign any number. That is why it failed. For the second one, what is the problem? For all positive numbers you are able to assign the values, including for 0 also, but then for negative numbers you cannot give any real number because it is an imaginary number, but it is defined on set of all real numbers. And for the third one, what is the problem? C, for a single number you are getting two numbers as output, which means for every number is mapped to two numbers like this. It cannot be a function. And for the last one, it is not a problem. The reason is, for all positive numbers, you will map to positive numbers, corresponding positive numbers, and for all negative numbers also you will map to the corresponding positive numbers. But anyway, if you see the elements in this, there will be only one mapping. But if you see the elements in the right hand side, you know, two elements might be mapped to one element there, but that is not a problem. Okay, so anyway, what we can say is D is a function. Now see the next one. Consider the following relations from set of all bit strings to set of all integers. Okay, so they are talking about set of all strings to set of all integers. Then f1 is, which means the first function is the number of ones in the bit string s. So what they mean to say is, if you have set of all these strings like this, let us say 0 0 0, this is a string, then what is it mapped to? It is mapped to 0 according to f1. So f1 counts the number of ones in the bit string s, which means since there are no ones in this string, we are going to give it 0. And what about 0 0 1? Since there is 1 1, we are going to assign value 1. What about 0 1 0? We are going to assign value 1. What about 1 0 0? We are going to assign value 1. So that is the meaning of it. According to f1, we are counting the number of ones, and every string is going to get an integer which is equal to the number of ones in that string. Got it? This is going to get 0. Now, how many elements will be there in the number of strings possible? Infinite. Okay, but then every element will always get one number here, right? That is equal to the number of ones. So if you are counting the number of ones in a string, it cannot be two numbers, isn't it? Or it cannot be 0. I mean, it cannot be undecidable, because every string is of finite length. Getting this? You have a finite length string, you try to count the number of ones, you will come up with a single number. Therefore, every string will be assigned a single number and exactly one number, right? So what is that number? That is equal to the number of ones. Therefore, f1 is a function. And what about f2? f2 is saying that it is going to give the position of 0 bit in the string. Yes. So what it means is, if you have a string 0 1 0 1, then 0 is present in position number 1 and 0 is present in position number 3. Therefore, position number 3, right? So it is going to have 1 comma 3, which means this particular one string is actually assigned to more than one numbers. Therefore, it cannot be a function. So what is the definition of a function? Every string should be assigned to only one number, but in this case, this string is assigned to more than one number. Therefore, what is the question here? Which of the above relations are functions? So f1 is a function, but f2 is not a function. That is the meaning of it. Okay.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So, first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and IITs, universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%. But all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177 and IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting, so depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities. But whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.